welcome back to another video. Today, in this video, I want to talk about the large amount of things that have that have gone wrong on the kart. Now, I should probably release this first, but I might not because I like to record these in the order. I like to release them in the order I record them. So essentially, it's a little bit muddled up, but essentially my last video I recorded was that I hit my fastest ever race pace. I hit 47 seconds on a lap. But the only reason I did that is because all of the things I'm talking about in this video are now no longer an issue. So it's sort of looking back in the past rather than something that's like happening right now. It's something that has very recently happened but is now all fixed and none of it is a problem anymore. But just to try and cut down the time on this video a little bit, because it could very well end up being a half an hour long video if I just keep talking and lose track of time. Because of time, I will just really quickly go over just identify what all the things are that I'm going to be talking about, and then I'll double back and start to talk about it in a little bit more detail as to what happened. So essentially, this is over the span of 3 days, by the way, pretty much. Not even actually, no. 3 days? No, 2 days, 2 days. Because it was both the times that I had the tutoring session with my mentor, when we were out on the track, and he was teaching me about all the lines on the track and everything. This was this happened over literally 2 days. Because I had 2 training sessions, and those happened on I believe it was a Wednesday and a Thursday of last week. So last week, Wednesday and Thursday, was when this happened. So something like that. But essentially, over the course of those 2 days and 2 times out on track, all these things that I'm going to talk about all went wrong. And again, they're all fixed now. None of them are an issue anymore. But there's so many things that happened in the span of 2 days. It was crazy. So just to go over them very briefly and just identify what they are before I then talk about them, essentially all the things that happened were the battery terminals were just slipping off. So as I'm going around on the track, I'm fanging it around doing 52s and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden the battery would just decide to disconnect, and then the kart will just come to a stop. But essentially, the kart would just lose power for no reason. So then I'd switch that kill switch to off and then turn it back on, then try and start the kart. So you have to switch it on and then start. And then nothing would happen. I'd just be pressing it and nothing would happen. It wouldn't even try and start. And so I was like, well, what? And so I'd pull over off into this extra area. It's essentially some corners have it on the track, where it's literally just a little alcove you can go, where if your kart dies on you, you can just hide in there and you're not on the racing line, and no one, most likely, unless someone spins out, no one's going to crash into you. But yeah, I would pull off into there, and then I'd have to get out and look at my whole kart, and I'd be like, okay. And I'd look over the whole thing. I'd be checking the fuel lines, the fuel filter, making sure everything's connected, checking the fuel pump even. I got down on all fours and tried to look under, because I'm not sure if you've ever seen how low the proper go-karts are. Even the rentals are pretty low, but the proper karts, they're literally this high off the ground. You can hear them scraping on. They're like an F1 car, you see on Formula 1, where they just periodically, you just see, as they're driving along, you just see sparks flying out from the bottom of the car. That's because it's scraping on the ground. Now, sparks don't come out the back of a go-kart, I can assure you, but it scrapes on the ground a lot. And you can hear it as well. You can sometimes even feel it. Well, usually you can feel it, but especially you can hear it. But yeah, so you pull over to this area, and because the kart's so low, you get down on all fours, and you're sort of peering under, trying to see, and you can barely see the fuel pump, and I can just tell that, yep, everything's still connected, it's all good. So I'm like, well, what's wrong? I checked the fuel tank, it's still got fuel in it, so I didn't run out of fuel. What happened? And so I thought the only thing that can be wrong is the spark, because think about the 3 main things you need for an engine to start is air, fuel, and spark. It's got air. I was just racing it. I was doing like 50 k's an hour. It has plenty of air, so it's not that. It's got half a tank of fuel, so it's not the fuel. So it has to be, most likely has to be the spark. And I checked it, and lo and behold, the battery terminal's just flanging out. The neutral, because it's a slide-on, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to one of the ones we actually have to screw it on. And then I'm going to like crimp it on as well. Make sure that thing stays on, and it doesn't just come off in the middle of the track. But as of recording this, I still have the slide-on ones, and it just slipped off. The negative terminal just slipped off, and the battery lost power because of that, and the whole kart came to a stop. So that happens in the middle of the track while I'm doing 50 k's an hour, and thankfully, because the brakes aren't electrically controlled, they're still controlled with brake fluid, they're not electric brakes, thank goodness for that. And so at least the brakes still work, but the throttle doesn't work, the engine's dead, I'm just coasting. Like, I'm literally just coasting to a stop. Then what's part of the exhaust pipe that's known as the stinger? The stinger would literally only ever happen once and has never happened since, but it just blew out the exhaust. And this whole thing, I'll attach a picture of what it looks like. It's like this big. In fact, in terms of like the real size of it, I would say based on like the distance from, if I put it right up to the camera, like it would be so far you wouldn't be able to see it. But like back to where my face is, it's probably the width of this camera lens. Like, it is a big piece of kit, this thing, and you put it into the exhaust and you hold it on with 4 screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the side in the exhaust pipe, and it's like essentially like a filter to stop the pollutants from being so pollutanty. I promise you, I've got more knowledge than that. I just couldn't find out the words, but yeah, literally, that whole assembly just shot out the exhaust pipe, which, you know, it doesn't take a mechanical genius to know that, you know, something that's held in by 4 bolts, and they're like heavy duty bolts, shouldn't just blow out the exhaust pipe. You know, it's supposed to, maybe even it's supposed to stay in there. Just maybe. The fact it's got 4 like heavy duty bolts in there, just maybe that means it's supposed to stay in there. Maybe. So maybe it's not a good idea that it just shot out the exhaust pipe and flew across the track, and there was someone coming behind me who tried to overtake me who almost crashed because this thing shot out and shot right towards him and he had to swerve around it. I didn't see any of that because he was behind me. I was told about it when I came back in. I was told about it from both my mentor and my dad. They both told me that the guy had to swerve out the way because he was trying to overtake me, and he was like right up behind me. And then my stinger shot out the pipe and he had to swerve around to not run it over, and then he had to overtake me. And then obviously he overtook me really easily because I slowed down, because the kart sounds completely different and sounds really bad. It doesn't sound good. It sounds a bit like a JDM car, you know, with all the popping and banging. Not to say JDM cars sound bad. I actually quite like them. But a go-kart is not supposed to sound like that, which is why I identify it as a bad noise for a go-kart. Not for a JDM car, but yes, definitely for a go-kart. So yeah, just those 2 things, those were both pretty big things. Also, the jet in the carburetor. Oh my days. I think we tried at least 3 different sizes, and each time we made very big jumps. I'm pretty sure the mixture in the carburetor was too rich and we were trying to make it leaner. I'm pretty sure that was what we did. Maybe it's the wrong way around. Maybe it was leaner and we wanted it richer. But I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure that it was too rich and we wanted it to be leaner. I'm just running off memory. I haven't written any of this down. But we literally tried 3 separate jet sizes, getting like massive jumps in being super lean jets every time. And it was the 3rd one that actually worked and made the carburetor actually deliver the fuel properly. I mean, the air and the fuel, but like actually deliver the mixture properly. And then also I was taught about how to modulate the throttle in the most efficient way, because on the Rotax Max, the non-Evos, you don't just plant your foot down and off you go. You have to actually, because it's not electronic, you got to be actually quite careful with it. And so yeah, you have to actually be really precise with it and actually modulate the throttle. You got to put it onto a point, you got to hold it there for a bit, and then you got to push it on until you get to full, and then send it. But yeah, so I was taught about that to make sure I wouldn't flood the carburetor. But then also we needed 3 different jets, and only the leanest one out of the ones we tried actually worked in the way we wanted it to. The others were still too rich, which was just insane because literally the first one we tried, we went up, I think it was something like 8 sizes, and in the end I think we went up at least, I think it was 10 sizes. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember, something about that. Like, it was big jumps. You don't usually do that. You maybe do 1 if you're ambitious, 2 to 3. Not 8 to 10. Holy cow. It was such a big jump. And as soon as that jet went in, and of course all the other things being fixed as well, the battery, not the terminal, not just slipping off for no reason, and the the internals of the exhaust pipe not just being shot out at... I mean, apparently it was really fast. If I had to guess, based on how fast people were recounting it to me, probably like 15, 20 kilometers an hour, that this like 500 degree piece of metal wrapped in fiberglass is flying out of my exhaust pipe. It's a bit of a problem. So like after all that was fixed, and then we got the jet all sorted out and got the right size, or something, like got the right mixture in the carburetor, it felt like a brand new go-kart. It felt like it was an unrestricted car. Like, it felt like essentially we'd just taken the restrictor plate off and now it was going at 1,000,000 kilometers a second. And I was actually scared to max it for a while. It took me about like 20 minutes out on track before I actually was comfortable enough to start really pushing it. Because I was just so scared about flooring it because, well, scared's the wrong word. But I wasn't used to it. That would be the correct thing. I just wasn't used to it. Because I'd been used to this bogging down all the time, slow kart. And now it was just flying. It was just, woo. But yeah, now of course I'm used to it and I'm perfectly fine with it. But holy cow, that first session out on track after we fixed it, I was like... I've never been so scared about going... Scared again is the wrong word. I've never been so, like, really thinking that I'm coming in too hot into a corner. And because I'm flying towards this corner, like 60, 70 kilometers an hour up to this corner. And I'm thinking, oh, I've overcooked this. I'm going to go flying off the track. I might even hit the tire wall. So I hit the brakes as hard as I think I need to. And I almost stop before the corner. And I'm like, huh? Like, I slow down from 70 kilometers an hour to like maybe 15, which is way too slow. I'm supposed to be going faster than that. But it's because I was so nervous about just going flying off the track that I slammed on the brakes. Sometimes I almost lost the rear end because there's only one brake on this car and it's on the left-hand side of the rear. So you technically have unstable braking. So if you brake too hard, you just swap ends, you just spin out. And that almost happened a couple of times. I had to actually like do some correcting on the wheel because I hit the brake too hard and it would start to spin out. But yeah, this time I came up to this corner. I thought I'd overcooked it. I slammed on the brake and I didn't spin. I didn't lose control at all. But I literally was going like a snail's pace. I almost stopped by the time I reached the corner, and I was so stunned about like this. I essentially felt like I had a brand new go-kart. I was like, what the hell? This is insane. But yeah, so again, I'm used to it now, and I've got no issues with it at all, and I absolutely love it. I love sending the thing around. It's so much fun. I love the kart so much now that it's in such much better condition. I've even nicknamed it Tony because it's a Tony kart. It's OTK. And so yeah, I've got so attached to the kart, I've even named it now. His name's Tony. But yeah, so there was all these things that have gone wrong. There might even be more that I'm forgetting about, but I don't remember anything else off the top of my head. Yeah, there was just so many things that happened, and like in terms of the number, yeah, it might not be a big number. Yeah, it was only three major things that happened. But each of these things took like an hour and a half to fix minus the battery. The battery was like 10 seconds, plug the thing back in, make sure it was really on there, and then go out again. And then it was fine. After the second time we did that, then it was fine. But the stinger shooting out of the exhaust, and the jets on the carburetor, those each took like an hour and a half. Like, it was a big job, each of them. Like, practically we were out there for most of the day. You know, we left at like 9:30 to get to the track at 10, and we left to come home at like 2:30 in the afternoon. We're practically there for half the day almost. But yeah, so some big stuff has happened, all this crazy stuff. And now it's all finally fixed, it's finally good. And the result of that is that now I am fanging it around, and I'm probably going to get faster because I'm actually starting to hit consistent 47s now. So the last video I uploaded, I had consistent 48s and I hit two 47s, and the 47 that I showed you was the fastest of those 47s. I'm now essentially the lap time that I did before, I'm consistently banging those out, lap after lap after lap. So I reckon it's only a matter of time until I hit a 46 or even a 45. And if I hit a 45, I'm like less than a second away from like P1 club pace, which is insane. Like, this is my, fifth time ever coming out to this track. And like the tutoring definitely helped. Like, absolutely. I mean, without it, I would have had no idea that the car. I would still be doing 50s now because I would have no idea that the car was anything wrong with it. So without that tutoring, I would have had absolutely no idea. And so I would still be doing 50s and wondering why I'm not going any faster, thinking that it was something wrong with me. But it's nothing to do with me. It was actually the kart all along. Well, not all along, because there's still me. Like, I've now got a kart that is capable of doing P1 club pace. My tutor told me as much. So now it's all up to me to bring it home. And I'm going to make sure that I do that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm doing consistent lap times now on the fastest lap I've ever done. I'm now doing consistently. It's only a matter of time before I break a record. And yeah, all the things that have gone wrong are all fixed. It's all sunshines and rainbows now. I'm flying around the track multiple seconds faster than I ever have before. Life's pretty good now. This is the best I've felt in a long time. You know, even finishing the kart, restoring it, and finally finishing it. And it turns out all these other things were wrong. But as far as I was aware at the time, it being finished, done. I can finally get it out on track. How I felt then, I've never felt that again since until now. And now I feel so good and I'm ready. I want to go back out. Like, it's literally the time. It's 8 o'clock at night and I already want to go back out on the track and just fang the kart around. I just want to send it. Obviously, it's way too late to do that, but like, I'm just in such a good mood after having achieved so much in such a short amount of time. So yeah, I'm on track to actually do stuff and maybe even get some pace that I thought was way out of my reach. Who knows? The pace that I could be hitting, of course, I've never actually been in a race with numerous karts before, and that's a whole different ballgame. And I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, so great achievements have been done, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. So, I will catch you on the flip side. Bye, everybody.